If you've ever fancied having a crack at the Rapha Festive 500, or if you've tried and couldn't complete it, then this is the video for you, because I'm going to share with you the 11 tips that have helped me complete the Festive 500 for the last 3 years. Now, if that sounds like a bit of humble brag, yeah, maybe it is, but on the other hand, I honestly think that any club cyclist with a reasonable level of fitness and a bit of determination can finish the Festive 500, especially if you follow these 11 tips. Maybe you've already been searching online for training programs that will tell you how to cram in as much as possible in the next few weeks before the Festive 500 starts. But here's the truth. The Festive 500 doesn't start on the bike. It starts somewhere else. So I'm thinking of having another crack at the Rapha Festive 500 this year. No, actually, I don't want anything, son. All I need you to do is just support me for doing this Festive 500 thing. So when your mum asks, tell her you think it's a great idea. Yeah, thanks. If your family are not with you and they're not supportive, then getting out on day 4, 5, 6 and beyond and trying to do another 3 hours on your bike is going to be pretty tough if everyone back home is hostile to the idea of you doing it. So tip number 1, very definitely, get everybody on side. You've got a few weeks, so keep saying it over and over again. Get everyone used to the idea that you're doing it, even if you're not sure that you can do it yourself. It's a bit like saying, get Brexit done, over and over again. Tip number 2, break it down into manageable chunks. You've got 8 days, so use all 8 days. It's 62.5 kilometers a day for 8 days. And that's 62.5 kilometers because nobody is calling this the Festive 311. Deal with it, we're metric. Of course, if you check on Strava last thing at night on Christmas Eve, you'll find that there are people who've already finished the Festive 500. These are, generally speaking, people who live in the Southern Hemisphere, live for cycling and have no friends and family. And when they wake up on Christmas Day, they'll still have no friends and family, and they'll be living in Australia. Now, having said you should break it into chunks, doesn't mean you have to have 8 even chunks. You don't have to do 62k every single day. So my next tip is, on Christmas Eve, if you can, go longer. Get some extra kilometers in the bank, because you'll need those to play with on days when you feel really tired or the weather's really against you. Here's my next tip. Nobody says you have to ride the Festive 500 on your own. You don't get special points for doing it solo, so ride with a friend where you can. First year I did this, it snowed on Boxing Day, and all I could do was to complete about 30 kilometers very slowly on a hybrid bike on flat shoes in the snow. On the 27th, I really didn't feel like going out again, but I had a friend help me out. On that day, I spent 70 kilometers sitting behind this man's back wheel. And I kid you not, there was just me, him, and a snowplow out on the road. It was incredibly hard to finish, but also incredibly rewarding, because on the days when it's toughest to do it and you get out there and you finish it somehow, it feels like you will definitely finish the whole thing. So if you've got friends you can rely on, give them a call. Thanks, Mark. And a smart thing to do is, if you're riding with a friend, alternate and decide who picks the route, because there's nothing worse than just going round and round and round the same route. You will get bored within 500 kilometers, believe me.
Keep going.
Riding with somebody else will help the time go past, even if they spend the entire time banging on about hedges. Now the good news is, there are going to be days when you feel good. For me, somewhere around day 4 or 5, my body switches from, what are you doing to me, to, oh, here we go again. On those days, stay out. Get the extra kilometers in if you can. Towards the end of your ride, turn left or turn right. Take a a different route other than the one that you had planned to get back on. Add on something, just ride around the block maybe a couple of times, but those extra kilometers will count. And maybe if you can zigzag your way home, you'll end up with another 10k. Every kilometer put in the bank when you feel good will count for the days when you don't feel good. So get out and stay out when you can. Here's the thing, except from the start, there are going to be tough days. Days when you don't feel like going out because of the weather, or because you're tired, or because you've drunk too much or eaten too much, or because you've got friends and family visiting, or maybe not. Under COVID, maybe Boris will do us all a favour and your in-laws won't be able to visit. Obviously I don't mean that. I love my mother-in-law. On these days, well, you'll be glad you went bigger on day one. You'll be glad you did the things to tag on the extra bits, because on these days, give yourself a break and maybe just go out for half an hour only. And if you feel okay, you can carry on for a little bit. Maybe that half an hour stretches into 45 minutes or an hour. But keep going and get out every day. Don't break the streak, because once you break the streak, it means the next day when you wake up, you're going to have more to do. If you wake up on day 5 and you've still got 300 kilometers to go, that can feel pretty intimidating. And if you missed out 2 days in a row, you will almost certainly not complete, unless you're the kind of person who can get out and smash 100k for 4 days in a row. I'm guessing that most of us will try and ride early in the morning to get in our ride, and then have the rest of the day to spend with family. Get your kit ready the night before. Don't be that arse that's searching around for bits of kit first thing in the morning. Sorry love, can't find my overshoes.
Oh, you ass!
Don't just break the ride into manageable chunks in terms of kilometers, but also think about your pacing. There are no prizes for smashing yourself to pieces on the first 3 days and then crawling around like a dog for the rest of the week. So manage your pace. Keep remembering that tomorrow you've got to get up and do it all over again. And if you need to, take a coffee stop. Stop and have something to eat. Nothing wrong with that. Riding every day for 8 days can get boring, so a bit of variation will do. But nobody said you have to ride uphill at any stage during the Festive 500. In fact, personally, I would avoid every hill you can. Ride as flat as possible over that 500k. As well as thinking about varying the route, if you can, vary the terrain as well. So if you've got a mountain bike or a gravel bike, do one of the rides on that. And this year, for the first time, indoor kilometres will count towards the Festive 500 total. And there is nothing wrong with doing some indoor kilometres. As soon as you get off the bike, start your recovery properly. Have a recovery drink. Or you've got like a 20-30 minute window in which to get in some carbohydrates, and your body will absorb it 4 times faster than it does normally. So have a banana, peanut butter sandwich, beans on toast, something like that, but do it and do it quickly. It's a key part of the recovery. And it should almost go without saying that another key part of your recovery is going to be stretching every single night. Take a look on YouTube and see if you can find some videos from GCN or someone else. So that's it. You've finished your Rapha Festive 500. You've completed the 500 kilometers in the 8 days. Tip number 11, give yourself a little reward. It is after all the Rapha Festive 500. Maybe buy yourself a little Rapha Festive 500 cap. Stick it under your helmet on your next club ride. Remind everybody else what you did over Christmas while they were sitting at home stuffing their faces with Quality Street. You know how this stuff works on YouTube. Like, comment. You can even subscribe if you want to. Although who knows whether I'll be making another one of those again. Hope the 11 tips helped. See you out on the next ride. Well, of course there are going to be days when it's cold and wet and rainy. It's Britain in December. What did you expect? What are you going to do on those days? You're going to give up? What? You are going to give up. You're just going home. Fair enough. It's just me then.